So for the agenda, we have a few things. So starting off, we're going to have an introduction, really setting the stage of why creatives matter, how they impact your campaigns, and ultimately your performance. Next, we'll go into the creative formats and benchmarks, give you an idea of, what you should expect to see, best practices. So that's arguably some of the most important like meat of this webinar, and then the creative strategies by vertical. So I know, people are in different verticals, search arb, lead gen, all that good stuff, and then common mistakes to avoid.
Okay, so first, the intro, right? Why is creative important? Why finding the right creative for your campaign is very important. First, main reason is because creative is directly related to the metrics such as CTR and CVR. A good creative would drive more user to the landing page, which means higher CTR. And how does that impact CVR, you might ask? As you drive more user to your landing page, we're able to get more data from the user group and know exactly who would convert better. And that can help us drive up the CVR as well. And I think it's also really important to highlight that there's really no one size fits all. There's no right or wrong answer to what kind of creative to use for your specific offer. So success really varies, depends on what kind of offer you're running. And last but not least, it's very important to continue to test new creatives and refresh your creative to refine your strategy to find success on NewsBreak. And today I'm going to be highlighting some of the tips and tricks on how to test and how to find the right creative for you. Here I'm going to be showcasing some of the different style or creative format we have to allow you to upload on our platform. In terms of image ads, we have horizontal and vertical image ads. So a horizontal ad would look something like this, and a vertical image ad would look something like this. These will be run on all kind of different placement. Our algorithm is able to look at your creative and let it run on different kind of placement to determine which placement performed the best and then run more towards that placement. So that's kind of an unlimited strategy on our platform. And then in terms of videos, this is what it kind of looks like. And this is a full screen immersive 9:16 video. And this is a 16:9 horizontal video. And this is what it looks like on our platform. And I want to share some benchmark for each creative type. So this benchmark is just a for reference, and it's a ballpark of the average we're seeing on our platform. Although, hitting this step benchmark does not necessarily guarantee performance, but hitting this benchmark definitely lets where your creative is currently at in terms of competitiveness compared to other people running on the platform. So for video creatives, we see a slightly higher CTR and CVR, although our CPM is slightly higher. So because our video creative tend to have a higher conversion rate, if you see a slightly higher CPM and you're running a vertical video, there's a high chance that you're performing really well at the immersive video placement, so it's running more towards the immersive placement and you're seeing a higher CPM. But that also usually accompany with a higher CTR and CVR as well. And then in terms of horizontal image creatives, we also have a lot of other kind of offers that does well for just video image creatives. So you see a cheaper cost, lower CPM, and our CTR and CVR is also relatively very competitive. But ultimately, I recommend always to test both out. And then some quick creative tips. Creative tips is you want to make sure you're testing 2 to 5 ads within each ad set. It also depends on your budget. So if you have a higher budget, recommend to test about 3 to 5 ads within the ad sets. But if you have a lower budget, then I recommend to test less creatives within your ad set and just focus and kind of concentrate on those few ads. So lower budget, recommend to do about 2 to 3 ads. Also really important to separate each ad set for each ad format. So make sure that you're not mixing horizontal images with vertical images within one ad set. Make sure you're not mixing horizontal videos with vertical videos within one ad set. This help our algorithm better optimize towards that specific creative, since each creative has kind of a good slot for the placement. And then always test different creative angles. Make sure you're not running any duplicates or very similar creatives within your account or within your campaign. Always test more unique and distinct creative. And static images and GIFs, they tend to perform a little better when they're in a horizontal format. Those are more for kind of the article readers. And then for the video ads, they tend to perform better in our 9:16 vertical format because the videos are more TikTok style, tend to be for kind of the video scrollers. And this is kind of the special surprise that we have for you guys. So although NewsBreak have a lot of other internal AI related tools for, creating your AI created title, description, and also images, we are currently working with a third party that allow us to use AI-GC video creation tool. And this creation tool is currently in a very beta stage, so we're only opening up to few people. And just by attending this webinar today, after this webinar, we're going to send out a survey. The first 10 people that fill out the survey after this webinar will get a chance to test out our AI-GC video creation tool. And I personally used it, and I've definitely seen what those video looks like. I would say it doesn't look like AI-GC created at all, so it's very native. And then last but not least, it's very, very important that if you're currently running on other platforms such as TikTok, Meta, or even Taboola Outbrain, make sure you're leveraging creatives from other platform and use whatever you find success on other platform. Always test those out on NewsBreak as well.
Cool. And effectively testing creatives on NewsBreak is super important, and listening to the best practices and recommendations that the account managers have for you. The number one rule is to always upload new creatives within a new ad set. The reason for this is that we may have already identified the winning creative. So if you're adding new ads into that ad set, there's potential that they won't spend or have the best shot for performance. So that would be the number one tip when testing creatives. And then we also have creative optimization turned on, which means that in the initial stages, we're going to split the budget. And then you're going to notice that one ad is going to get the most spend. So best practice here is to turn off all of the low performing ads. And then kind of like how Jenny mentioned previously, always using distinct images. So not using anything that looks too similar. A variety of fresh creatives will perform better, and that's what the algorithm will favor. And then lastly, for testing, if learning progress is slow and then you receive that flag at the ad set level, make sure to take a look at your CTR. So is it a little bit low? Is it in line with the benchmarks that Jenny shared a few slides ago? And if it's a little bit low, that means that our audience potentially is not resonating with the creatives that you have. So would suggest here to turn off the ads, relaunch, and then test some new creatives. And then Jenny and I also wanted to not only do high level of like benchmarks, creative formats, and all of that, but we wanted to go a little bit deeper into specific verticals that perform well on NewsBreak and the specific creative strategies that you can see from different categories specifically. One really important vertical that we've seen that's doing really well that we would recommend in this quarter is health. And to give you some background, our audience is 45 plus, skews slightly female. So health resonates really well with our audience because they really care about their health and learning about their health and ways to improve it. And then specific verticals that we see find success are like beauty, skincare, anti-wrinkle cream, diet, joint pain, back pain, all that stuff that older woman or demographic would like. And then specific creative strategies that we see are like before and after pictures. So this image here of a before and after picture is perfect. Some things for policy to keep in mind is not to show too much stomach or midriff. So this one here is just a perfect example of something that would work well on NewsBreak. Product images. So in the last slide before, there was like an Ozempic box. So having the Ozempic pen and box works really well. It's very native style and drives clicks, in addition to the insoles or shoe inserts that you see. That's a really great product image. And then just overall, just making it very educational content. So ads or landing pages to explain health concerns or diseases or just offer solutions to current issues tend to resonate well with the older woman demographic. And then like testimonials. So sharing success stories that help build trust, that people really are going to see that this is a credible product and they want to move forward, or it's a credible brand and they want to purchase the product. And then a couple other policy things to keep in mind is that no celeb or doctor endorsements that are false. So if you do have a celebrity or doctor endorsement, feel free to send to Jenny or I, and then also not having any exaggerated claims. But overall, for health, still just testing images and videos is recommended. If you're testing VSLs, we specifically see that images with the play button will work well. And then that we wouldn't just rule only images, we also would test videos too. So even though for VSLs, we see images work well, we also see that there's some people scaling for UGC style videos to VSLs. Another thing is that we also see direct to offer in addition to pre-lander advertorials perform. So just overall, no one size fits all, like Jenny mentioned, and testing different things is what's recommended for all verticals, but especially health. Cool. And then finance does really well with their audience because thinking of that older demographic, they really care about their retirement, saving for their future. They have families, so they want to make sure that they're set up for success. So saving for investing and just doing things for their family. Some specific verticals that we see perform well are like HELOC, investment, debt, debt relief, ways to make money, and then creative strategies are native style imagery. So having money like this image here, for gold IRA, having gold bars, just generally showing anything that with dollar signs that's going to drive more clicks and higher CTR. In addition to that, professional wisdom. So maybe ads that showcase expert insights or advice tend to spark a lot of curiosity and build trust. And maybe investment or retirement strategies are common mistakes that people make in finance, like this image here. And then in addition to images, just like we've been saying before, UGC style videos perform really well. Listicles specifically for finance, we've seen a lot of success in. So just having different narratives, and then it'll link out to a credit card debt offer or multiple credit card debt offers. So overall for finance, just really dubbing it down, drive curiosity, and then that'll lead to more clicks and reach LP, so higher CTR.
Awesome. And then moving on to e-commerce. E-commerce vertical is currently, I would say, doing pretty well. I know typically in Q1, finance, lead gen related categories tend to do better, but surprisingly, this Q1, I've seen a lot of people finding success in e-commerce as well. And here's some of the product that we've been seeing doing well for e-com. Some of the everyday consumer products like kitchen gadgets, cool gadgets you're using, charger dogs, all of those are, everyday consumer products. And then tech such as like smartwatch, all of these have been doing very well on our platform. Like heater, electric saver, all of these. And some of the key creative strategies that I want to highlight is we tend to see a lot of product demonstrations. Videos and GIFs do really well. So videos, a lot of UGC style as well. So some UGC style of people reviewing that product or using that product. I've even seen fidgeting toys running on our platform, and it's just people playing with the fidgeting toy. Drive excitement and curiosity in the user, make them be curious of what kind of product you're actually selling and learn more about it. And last but not least, a very important thing to highlight is sales. Our platform is, like Brinkley mentioned, majority skewed slightly female and 45 plus they most likely have kids, have a home, have a car. So there's a lot of cool gadgets that they might need and be interested in. And they are also very impulsive shoppers, which means that by saying flash sale on your website and say flash sales ending in like 2 days or in a few hours, or grouping certain products into a bundle and, having a cheaper price when you buy it in a bundle, those tend to be really good strategies to run on our platform as well. So ultimately, I want you guys to know that our horizontal creatives tend to more likely to reach our article readers because they are more likely to appear on our in article and in feed and end of article, all of those placements, versus our vertical creatives are more likely to reach the video swipers because they're more likely to appear in the immersive placements, which is very similar to TikTok, where you just keep scrolling and you see different kind of videos. And then last but not least, we have our search arb vertical. So search arb is definitely something that we see gotten really popular in the last few years. So I wanted to have a special dedicated uh, section for search arb. I myself is also the search arb specialist on NewsBreak. So if you guys are interested in running any search arb campaigns, feel free to reach out to me via like email or via any other ways you can on the platform like Skype. Um, so for search arb, here's some of the verticals I've been seeing really well recently on our platform, both AFD and RSOC feeds. That's running health, finance, investment, home improvement, and auto-related keywords. An example that I give on the side, this is kind of an example I created myself in kind of a dummy account. So usually a very native style image of just happy seniors, and then title can leverage our dynamic copywriting, so using the city and state macro to make the ad more relatable and look more close to, what all the articles that they're reading that are very local to them. So things like, let's say San Francisco resident, check out these affordable apartments. We currently see images tend to perform slightly better for search, or it's more common. However, we're also seeing an increased amount of people testing out short videos as well. Recommend to test out 10 to 15-second long videos. I wouldn't recommend anything longer than that for search. And it's really important to, drive excitement and curiosity into, the product or the category you're going to be driving the user to. One important thing to know is that NewsBreak is different than other platforms. So we have a lot of first-party users. We own the app ourselves. So it's really important to find the balance in your creative between being a competitive creative that's able to perform well and drive conversion, and also providing our user a good experience on the app.
Before you move on, oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Somebody in the audience asked, can you define search arb?
Oh, yes. So search arbitrage is kind of a new vertical. I wouldn't say new, it's been around for a very long time, but it didn't get popular until I would say the last 1 to 2 years. Um, Essentially, you get the feed. The feed is provided by Google. Google has basically a license that you can, request from Google. And then a feed provider will usually do that. So a feed provider will get the feed from Google or get the right to own that feed or run that feed from Google. And then advertisers will go to feed providers, some of the major ones such as System One, Domain Active, ads.com. All of these are feed providers that will provide you a search feed. Search feed usually would be when you click on this ad, instead of bringing you to a product page, it will actually bring you to a few links on the site. So those links are all technically kind of like Google search. So the links could say like dentist near you. I don't know. If you click on like an ad that says, let's say use this as an example, right? So San Francisco resident, check out these affordable apartments. So once you click into that, you'll see a landing page that have a field link that says like apartment near you, affordable apartment near you, apartment in San Francisco, like all of these links. And usually then you will try to drive the user to click on one of those links to bring you to a second page. We call that an AFD feed. So you click into the second page where it will show you a big list of related kind of apartment, I guess apartment agencies or a ton of apartment near you that you will be able to look into, like renting. And then when you click on visit website, it will actually drive you to a website that actually has apartment for rent in your area. So, how advertiser usually make money is by driving that user from clicking the ad all the way to the end of the chain, which is visiting the actual apartment site, or in other cases, it can be health related issue, driving to a clinic, finance related thing to a financial product, stuff like that. So you get the payout when you bring the user all the way to visit the website. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much. Yes, that was very thorough.
Okay, sounds good. And then we can move on to the next vertical.
Last one, lead gen, our beloved lead gen, probably the top vertical last year. And some things about lead gen. So it really resonates with our audience because majority are homeowners as well as car owners. You can go to the next slide. Cool. So like I mentioned, home services, home improvement offers, as well as insurance. And then recently we would recommend job lead gen creatives. And then creative strategies that we've seen work for home services are like before and after pictures. So like I mentioned, home improvement, bathroom remodel, kitchen remodel, displaying what the bathroom looked like before as well as after. And you can do that in a UGC style video or an image. And then we also see for roofing, just people on the roof. It's very native style, like the image that you see here. And then for insurance, recommend again both images and videos, but 9:16 UGC style videos probably have done the best. And it's just a video of someone talking about, for example, how happy they are that they got low or life or low auto insurance, or how happy they are that they got good life insurance for their family. And then Jenny mentioned this for search arb, but dynamic copywriting is super recommended for lead gen specifically because it makes the ad locally relevant. And we have state and city macros that you can put in the title or the description of the ad. It's just basically going to change based off of where the user is located. And yeah, overall, just testing different creative strategies that grab attention and keep it in line with the product.
Awesome. And then some of the commonly made mistakes I've seen on our platform. I want to highlight some of these for you guys. It might be some mistakes that you're currently making, so it's important to, correct those mistakes in order to be able to find success on our platform. One common mistake I see is turning ads on and off very frequently. There's a few different reasons why people may do that. One is performance. So if the performance is not good, they turn it off, and then a few days later they change their mind, they want to test again, they turn it back on. In those cases, I don't recommend doing it. Instead, if it's due to performance issue, after you turn it off, if it has been like more than 2, 3 days, I recommend to just re-upload. And then in another case is for certain like lead gen offers, and there's working on a call center schedule, and you want to, only run during the call center's available time and then turn it off during the nighttime or when the call center is not working. In those cases, instead of turning it manually on and off, which can mess with the algorithm, I recommend to use the day parting on our platform. So you'll be able to find it on the ad set level and set your day parting schedule there. Having the day parting schedule turn it on the back end for you on and off will not mess with the algorithm. So it'll give you a more solid foundation to your ad set. Second common mistake is not testing different creatives and formats. Like I mentioned earlier, there's really no right or wrong answer on what kind of creative to test for each vertical. But it's always important to test different kind of creative formats. So don't just tunnel vision on running 9:16 videos, and also don't tunnel vision on running 16:9 images. Always test out both, always test out vertical image and horizontal videos as well. Avoid running duplicate creative within your accounts more importantly, definitely avoid running duplicates within ad set level. When you run duplicate creative within the ad set level, it can actually cause your ad set or your ads to compete against each other, and that will drive the cost up ultimately. And then avoid mixing horizontal and vertical creatives within one ad set. So if you're running vertical video already within that ad set, keep it and stick with vertical videos. Don't suddenly upload a horizontal image within that ad set. That can also affect the algorithm and the learning of the ad set. Third common mistake is leaving underperforming and non-spending creatives on. This is something that I see quite common actually. A lot of people see, oh, there's not much spending on these ads anyways, or oh, these ads, specific ads CPA is extremely high, but I'll just keep it running, even though because the spending might not be super high. I usually recommend to always turn those off before you start testing new creatives, mainly because we don't want these underperforming or non-spending creative to take any budget away from your good performing creatives. And last common mistake that we usually see is not testing both image and video creatives. So 9:16 videos and 16:9 images both perform very well on our platform, and we always recommend to test both together. Again, test both together, but in a different ad set.
Cool. And wrap up for key takeaways. I know that we talked about a lot of things, but what we wanted to leave you with is that creative drives performance. So strong creatives will boost your CTR. It's going to feed the algorithm with more data to optimize on CVR. So it's just very, very important for the algorithm, and keeping that in mind. Always test different formats and strategies. That's essential for success. So experimenting with different angles, as well as testing both images and videos. So we did say a couple recommendations for each offer specifically, but it's not one size fits all. Like we've talked about a lot, please test both images and videos. And then always optimize continuously, test new creatives. Just make sure also that you're understanding our audience demographic too. So they really care about our health, homeowners, car owners, family oriented. So understanding their needs and just creating very relevant content and engaging creatives that we know that they're going to convert on. And lastly, just always listening to account managers on best practices. There's always updates being made. I know that our big recommendation was to add new or create a new ad set when you have new creatives, but we are working on some features that you'll be able to add ads into an ad set. So TBD on that, and we'll always keep you updated. And then the best way to spy or just look at and see what creatives are performing well and running is to download our app if you haven't already. And that's going to give you a good idea on a lot of the ads that we described today.